David, another performance from your side that no doubt you're pleased with. A result though that you're again thoroughly disappointed with.
Yeah, the performance was excellent. The first half football that we played was impressive. And really, the only contribution that we didn't have, David, was the second goal, which would have put the game to bed. And as we have paid the price for that ultimately in the end, and there was at the 99th minute or something like that, and ultimately you come away disappointed that we haven't got the 3 points. But the texture of the football was very good, and our passing game was excellent in the first half.
Having reviewed the game, what aspect of that performance pleased you?
Well, I think that last year we played a different style of football where we had two big lads up front, and I felt that we asked the players, and we've worked very hard in pre-season on putting a foundation of a passing game. And there's been instances where on Saturday that certainly looked that is paying off. Ultimately, the end product would always be there. We had 18 shots on at goal. I think 11 of those were on target. So on another day, really, you could come away, just thinking, well, how did that second goal not go in? And I think the save from the Paul Connor just before half time was a big save for them, and it kept them in the game.
Is it a case of your side, shall we say, learning how to kill off a game?
Kill off a game. Well, that's certainly that second goal. Last week, we hit a post and a crossbar. So you're wondering, is there a little bit of luck, or is it just that a little bit of luck? You don't mind. Perhaps you have to learn to win ugly, perhaps. But I think killing the game off. There was 4 players in the 97th, 8th minute, attempting to clear the ball, and we vacated the area, which again, decision making at that time is important. But I'm certainly not coming away thinking the performance was bad. No, I'm not at all.
In terms of your defensive performance on Saturday, what do you make of Rhys Day coming into the side? Do you feel that you've started winning those first balls?
I'm smiling. I think that Rhys Day made a big impression. I was delighted from the fans' point of view that they gave him such a warm welcome. And basically, from my point of view, is that I think he made the impression that I was expecting and been looking for.
A new cornerstone in the team, perhaps?
I certainly believe so, yes. I think the texture of the man showed what type of character he is. I've been dying to get Rhys here for a long time, and I feel that people will recognise that's the type of player that leads from the front, and I think he did that on Saturday in a genuine. He gave his all, as his comments were, and that's lovely to hear. Is that a player going out there and expressing his views? Is that he gave his all because he wants to play for this football club, and that's the type of people that you want in the team.
We look at the signings of Simon Grand, Rhys Day. Do we get the impression, David, that you're rebuilding your side once again?
Well, there's been a takeover at the football club, and as I say, the expectancy level has changed. I've been able to bring in 3 players of quality, which is what I've been looking for. And I feel that that's the first impression that you try to give the new owner, is that can you do that? And I brought in Adam Murray. I think that he's shown signs of what type of very good player he is. Rhys, and we will certainly see Simon Grand sooner or later.
Whilst you've been in charge of Mansfield Town Football Club, would you admit there has been a high turnover of players at this football club?
Yeah, possibly yes, because when we first got here, there was 24 players out of contract. And obviously you make decisions based on the facts that you identify, and sometimes there has to be through. You're always trying to achieve more, and I think that's always got to be the case. But when you can bring in players of the quality that I brought in the last 10 days, and I wouldn't want to change them too often.
No, but in terms of those players that you've brought in, there have been a number of players who have left after short spells at this club, and we can go back to last season as well. So there has been a high turnover, hasn't there?
Yeah.
And in that case, do you feel that you've missed out on maybe forming a nucleus of your side? You've not been able to, shall we say, build a core squad of players over your tenure?
For different reasons. I think players, when you're searching to improve, you always want to improve. Some players can fulfil the expectations of coming here, and some players can't. And ultimately, they want the chance. There's many players that want the chance to do that. But when they come here, they've got to live up to those standards. I set high standards, and if players don't fulfil that, then they find themselves certainly finding themselves sitting in the stand, because I demand high standards, as do the owners, and that's exactly what we want.
For the current crop of players that you put together in the summer, do you think for some of them it's unsettling, perhaps the idea that yes, there is a new owner, and therefore the manager at this club will be looking to maybe replace me sooner or later?
Well, I understand where you're going with that, actually, but there's nothing I can do about that. When you've got a new owner coming in who will expect a higher standard of player, and he said that already, that he wants to achieve something, then the bar is raised. And if I have the ability, when I'm given the ability to bring in players, which I have done recently, of that standard, then that's the name of football, I'm afraid. You work in a jungle out there, and you have to be able to deal with that. Players have to step up, and if they don't step up, then you certainly got the ability to change things. And given the right type of players, I don't think anybody would begrudge bringing Adam Murray in here, and certainly Reece Day in here, because the performances have shown that they're quality players.
But in the short term, those players who may be unsettled, perhaps performances will dip and their level of commitment may...
Well, no, they won't dip, though, because they won't play.
At all?
Well, only if they're given the opportunity. But ultimately, if somebody goes out there and doesn't pull on a shirt and wear it with the same passion and pride, you can only knock on the door so much, and players have to step up. We've seen that, and ultimately that's the same at, I suppose, Liverpool right now. Is that Liverpool have high expectations. They find themselves in an area they're uncomfortable with, and the bar is raised. You look at Everton. Everton are similar, and ultimately, is the expectation of Liverpool to be in a qualifying slot for Europe, or challenging for the league. The expectations rise, and that's what you'll find at any club that has a change of ownership, and certainly an owner that wants to achieve as much as Mr. Redford does.
From the weekend, injuries, knocks, anything?
Well, prior to the weekend, Robert Duffy had a strained hamstring, and has trained very well, and was on the verge of probably being around the top end of the squad. Keegan Parker sat on the bench with 5 stitches in his foot, so again it was tough to have to change things. Carl Nix obviously got a few unwelcome challenges, so we'll dust him down. So a little bit top end, but I think we welcome back Adam Smith. Certainly we do. Adam has shown what a type of ability he's got.
And after calls for you to be replaced by some fans, how important would a win be for David Holdsworth?
Was it 18 months ago?
Or last weekend?
Last weekend. Well, those fans, David, this is quite a flippant remark, but likewise, the people that have written to me this week and sent emails in, and the people at the club on Saturday were very, very supportive. And as I say, that minority, I think, is at every club. That everybody wants success, and everybody wants to be winning, and I respect that, no problem, and we'll deal with it.
But will you concede, David, that with a changing landscape at this club, and with a club that hasn't got a win in its last 5 games, there have been question marks placed above your head?
I'm not really worried about that, David. To be honest, mate, at the end of the day, fans always want success. We sit in a position in the league. As you say, the bar has changed at the club, and I'm doing my best to work with the new chief executive, who's been a breath of fresh air. And we'll continue to work very, very hard to be successful, and it's something that I enjoy.
Winning the cup, achievable?
Win a teacup in a minute, I'll take that.
There you
go. I think you touched on the expectation levels. I think the chairman came out in the programme on Saturday and said he wants the points to finish in the top 5. Given the squad at the minute, is that a fair enough expectation, do you think?
Well, things can change, Matt, within the squad. Of course they do, because obviously we've got players out on loan, and maybe more have to go out on loan to balance things. But certainly, I'm very confident that we'll finish in a top 5 spot. Yeah, I am extremely confident. I don't think there's too much wrong at the moment. A little bit more in product. A slice of luck wouldn't go amiss. But you know, if we were being undone every week, and which we're not, and we haven't been, I'd be worried. But I'm certainly not worried because of the way that the players are performing.
Do you think to finish that top 5 that there need to be that many changes in January, or do you see it being kind of similar to?
I don't want to unsettle the players, man.
Yeah.
That'd be, you know, the boys here are working very hard, but there's players that want to play football, and if they're not finding themselves in games, then they can go out on loan. It's the same at any club.